Okay, so it's the middle of May here, 2017, Northeast Ohio, and this is actually the same time I did this video last year. So this video is mostly going out to my subscribers who are interested in seeing the progress of this Moso bamboo that's growing here that I planted in the ground last year. All this stuff growing here, this is only its second year in the ground. Actually, it's second year total from seed. Started out as a seed the size of a grain of rice, and then the seedling grew to about 3 or 4 inches, and then from that came all of this that's growing up here this year. Now I have this little hut thing that I built around it. This was for the winter time, and before I did this during the winter, I started off by venting what was there, which was a lot less than what you're seeing now, to the ground, and then covering it with plastic. However, it wasn't cold enough this winter for it to really freeze, so I ended up getting a lot of condensation, which started ruining the leaves and everything. It started decaying everything. So I undid that, and then I put this hut over top of it, sort of like a little greenhouse, for the last month or two of the winter time. And I took the plastic off, and now I just have a hose which is going back here to water something else, and I'll talk about that in a second. So what we actually have here is the Moso bamboo, or more specifically the Philostachus edulis or pubescens, whichever one you want to call it. It's actually called both. The other type of bamboo I have growing over here, this is the same type of timber bamboo, same name, Philostachus atrovaginata, and this stuff is actually growing a lot slower, or establishing itself a lot slower than the Moso here. But this will get roughly as big as the Moso in this particular climate. This stuff here grows to around 50 feet under the best conditions, depending on the environment that you put it in. And the Moso bamboo over here is actually what grows to about 90 feet, but that's in China. We don't have the climate for that around here, so both of these probably would be anywhere between 10 and 20 feet on average. This stuff here is good for wet locations, and it's doing okay right here. This isn't really a wet location, but I plan on moving it to another part of the yard where it's actually going to make a wall. So a lot of this is going to stay here, but I'm going to end up moving some of it. And I actually got some of this other stuff back here. You could probably barely see it in the video because it's hiding behind everything, but there is one cane here which is around 6 feet tall, and this is the same type as the other stuff. It's still a giant timber bamboo, but this is Philostachus vivax. The difference between these, the reason why I have all these growing here, is actually because the Moso bamboo is only cold tolerant to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. The atrovaginata is cold tolerant to about -15 degrees Fahrenheit, and the vivax is cold tolerant to around -5. Some people do report it being stable or being green until about -15 also, but that's not really a sure thing. So the reason why I did all 3 of these is basically doing may the best plant win, because I'm not sure what's going to actually grow the best. So whichever one grows best, it'll pretty much fill this entire area up, and then the rest that doesn't really make it will probably stay shorter and die off slowly, depending. But I really have a good feeling about all of this, and I think it's all going to grow pretty well. The cane here, this is my biggest cane here from the Moso. This is actually at 7 feet tall now. This is not done growing yet. Most of its height it's not going to get much taller, but the leaves coming out the top will continue to grow, and it might actually make it to about 8 feet over the next couple months once it grows more. But there are a ton of shoots coming up all over here. It started out with a little clump in a 2-gallon pot, and I actually did a video on that last year, like I said in the beginning of this video, but I will put a link in the bottom in the video description below, so you can click on that and you can actually see the video from when I first put it in the ground. And then I'll also provide links from when I started this growing in the basement, because like I said, it was from a single seed, and it was over 1 year time that I grew it in the basement before I put it outside. So there's a couple update videos on that if you want to see the progress of that, and the lights I used and nutrients and stuff like that. So I think that pretty much covers everything on this update as far as what I'm growing back here. And this wood and stuff, that's going to come down. This was just temporarily for its first winter out here. And then after this, I don't think I'm gonna actually cover it for the winter. I'm just gonna let it go and just hope for the best. But as you can see, it is spreading like crazy just over its first year in the ground. And this is about probably 2 to 3 times as many canes coming up as this atrovaginata over here. And this has been in the ground for 3 years now. So this is spreading very, very quickly. The one thing I want to say though is when these grow, they may not reach a height of their maximum height, and probably nowhere near it. But because it is a timber bamboo, it's still going to get some girth. They're still going to be pretty thick canes. So even though it's not going to be 90 feet tall, it'll still have a pretty good cane. And you can cut that down and use it for furniture, build stuff with, use it for walking sticks, fishing rods, anything. And then they'll grow more after that, so you don't got to worry about cutting anything down. That's why bamboo is so good, because it gets replenished so quickly and you can do a lot with it. But hope you enjoyed the video. It's probably a little longer than I wanted to make it, but like I said, this is mostly just for my subscribers who are interested in seeing the progress of the Moso bamboo. And then I'll probably post another one next year, and we'll see how everything goes. I'm probably not going to post this video up right away, so I'm going to give this about maybe another month or two so these leaves actually come out, and I'll take a picture of it and you can see what this actually looks like now rather than having to wait for it later. Because these are just mostly canes right now. So one thing I want to add before I actually finish this video here is this is about the same angle I recorded it from last year at the same time, and some people complain about springtime being cold or raining and stuff like that. We are actually, if you compare the video to last year to now, looking at the seasonal dormancy anyways, we are actually about 2 weeks ahead of schedule as far as temperature and leaf growth and everything on these trees and everything around me. Actually, the only trees around here that are not really in full bloom with their leaves is actually some of the oak leaves, but everything else is almost completely out on its full growth. So I just wanted to point that out, because the canes on here that's growing up and the other bamboo I got growing over there, those at this time last year were barely even breaking ground. They were only about this tall out of the ground, to where this year these canes started coming up about a couple weeks ago, and now they're already this tall. And the canes from the other bamboo, the atrovaginata, those actually, the tallest one right now is about 5 feet, to where last year it was only a couple inches. So we are ahead of schedule with the season, and I just wanted to add that, so just to kind of show the difference. So we're back. It is about a month and a week later or so from the first part of this video I did, and already now you can see that the leaves and stems and everything have grown out of the canes. So as promised, I just wanted to show you what it looks like now, so it looks like, what it looks like when they're in their full bloom. The incense bamboo over here, or the atrovaginata, this has grown to just almost 8 feet tall on the tallest canes here. It's pretty close to 8 feet, and that is pretty amazing because it's almost the exact same height as the Moso over here, which is around just a little bit more than 7 feet. So the difference is, though, is the Moso is only 2 years old from seed, and this plant over here, the incense bamboo, is about 5 years old from seed, but 3 years in the ground. So you can see how much quicker the Moso is actually growing. So that's pretty much it. Just thought I would throw in this update for the video as promised, and thanks for watching. You can click subscribe and click the bell so you get notifications of when I post more videos, if you want to follow up on the progress of this for each year that I do it. So the next year I'll be posting a video, and then so on and so forth. So we'll see you in those videos. Thanks.